Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at something that honestly gets dismissed way too often as just a background operational expense: event transportation. But what if I told you that moving people from point A to point B is actually one of the absolute most critical strategic business investments an organization can make? We're going to explore how event organizers, logistics pros, and enterprise leaders can completely rethink and actually measure the true return on investment of global event transportation solutions.
To really understand why this matters, we have to look at the sheer scale of the industry. Get this, according to the U.S. Travel Association, in 2018 alone, sports travel made up 8% of the total domestic travel market. That translates into an incredible 190 million trips and a staggering $41 billion in spending. With billions of dollars and millions of passengers on the line, we're talking athletes, VIPs, media teams, fans. The stakes are just incredibly high. The margin for error? It's essentially zero.
All right, here's our game plan for today. 1. Rethinking transportation ROI. 2. The 4 pillars of ROI. 3. Measuring transportation performance. 4. The cost of manual chaos. 5. Manual versus digital operations. And finally, 6. Building a lasting legacy. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. Rethinking transportation ROI. It's time for a totally new perspective. You know, when most of us hear ROI, our brains immediately jump to a spreadsheet showing money spent versus money earned. But if you're leading event operations, that definition is just way too narrow. It extends far beyond simple cost savings to measuring the true value that you're adding to the event. Because honestly, how you handle logistics is the literal deciding factor in whether your transportation services are viewed as a huge strategic advantage or just a massive operational headache.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 4 pillars of ROI. Let's talk about building a real advantage.
So these 4 pillars really form the foundation of our new definition of ROI. First up is operational value. Think of a carpool management system that keeps vehicles in rotation, cutting out idle time and those frustrating wasted runs. Next, we've got guest satisfaction. Transport sets the tone for the entire event. It's literally the first hello at the airport and the last goodbye after the finals. A perfectly timed shuttle makes for a stress-free ride and definitely bumps up those satisfaction scores. Third is event reputation. Flawless logistics reinforce a world-class image, and that builds deep trust with your sponsors, federations, and fans. And finally, long-term legacy. When you nail reliable event mobility, you earn the credibility you need to host future tournaments and massive global championships. All right, Section 3, measuring transportation performance. How do we actually track these success metrics?
Okay, we can divide our success metrics into 2 buckets: direct and indirect ROI. Direct ROI is the stuff that's easy to measure in hard numbers. Things like your vehicle utilization rate, how well your fleet avoids wasting time, along with your cost per transfer and punctuality metrics. But here's the crucial point. Indirect ROI, while definitely harder to put a number on, is equally important. We're talking guest sentiment, brand impact, the vital trust of your sponsors, and your sustainability appeal, like using eco-friendly electric shuttles to hit those global green goals. Every single airport transfer is a genuine opportunity to strengthen your brand.
Which brings us to Section 4, the cost of manual chaos. What happens when logistics fail?
Seriously, what really happens when event transportation drops the ball? It's never just about a bus being a few minutes late. Without modern management tools, small mistakes quickly snowball into incredibly costly problems. Let's look at a few real-world scenarios that I'm sure operations leaders know all too well.
Picture this. A VIP's flight arrives 30 minutes early. Great, right? Well, because there's no real-time communication, the driver has zero heads up, so the VIP is just left standing at arrivals, waiting around. Now, one late pickup might sound minor, but it immediately damages that VIP's impression of the entire event and severely risks alienating your sponsors. Your brand impact? It takes a direct hit.
Or consider the venue gates. Athletes and officials all show up at the exact same time, but you're still relying on paper-based accreditation checks. This creates a massive bottleneck. While the line just crawls along, dozens of shuttles are sitting idle right outside. They're wasting fuel, holding up the next group, and piling up costs. In an instant, all your careful transportation cost optimization just slips away.
And what about unpredictability? A match runs into extra time, instantly shifting hundreds of scheduled departures. Because you lack a centralized view of everything, your dispatchers are getting totally overwhelmed with calls from lost, anxious passengers, and confused drivers. The end result? Super frustrated attendees and half-empty buses leaving the venue, driving your cost per transfer absolutely through the roof.
So, Section 5, Manual versus Digital Operations. Let's compare the two.
So, what is the actual solution here? The truth is, today's global sporting events have simply outgrown the patchwork approach of the past. Just look at the contrast. Manual operations mean you're juggling spreadsheets, making endless phone calls, and dealing with information silos. You simply cannot manage thousands of simultaneous arrivals with zero margin for error this way. Digital solutions replace all that chaos with centralized dashboards, predictive routing, AI-powered dispatch, and full real-time visibility. It's a complete shift from just trying to survive the logistics to actually turning them into your strategic advantage.
When you bring the right tech into the mix, it provides incredible capabilities to remove friction from the guest journey. We are talking about automated airport pickups linked directly to real-time flight data, so if a VIP lands early, the driver already knows. We're talking digital accreditation integrated right at the venue gates to kill those bottlenecks. Live tracking dashboards that let coordinators predict and prevent delays before anyone even notices. And mobile updates that give your passengers total peace of mind. This is exactly how you transform from managing chaos into maintaining total control.
And finally, Section 6, Building a Lasting Legacy. This is where efficiency meets strategy. Event transportation is no longer just about moving buses around. It's a highly strategic layer of the event experience. By embracing digital integration, leaders can actually focus on the emerging value drivers that sponsors and federations are demanding today. This means sustainability leadership, utilizing eco-friendly fleets and carpool software to shrink your environmental footprint. It also means inclusive design, making sure you have wheelchair-accessible shuttles and thoughtfully planned pickup zones so every single participant feels valued. Framing your ROI around these future-facing themes, that sets you apart as a true innovator.
Just consider the London Olympics. The investments made in global transportation solutions there created a lasting legacy for the city's residents that went way beyond the games. Nailing reliable mobility doesn't just make today's event run smoothly. It earns you this profound credibility that pays off incredibly well when you're bidding for future global tournaments and championships. The impact truly lasts long after the final whistle.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to take away from our explainer today. Take a hard look at your current operations and ask yourself, are you just managing a logistics headache, or are you actively building a lasting legacy? By moving past the spreadsheets, embracing centralized digital solutions, and recognizing the true multi-layered ROI of event transportation, you can absolutely elevate your logistics from a background cost to a world-class strategic asset. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Catch you next time.